Now just before we get into the episode, I think I should point out that, as you can probably expect, the recaps are back, but this time they're narrated by the Great White Stag. Why not Badger, you may ask? Well, let's just say that we'll find that out as the series progresses. But since Moody is the voice of both of them, it really doesn't make too much of a difference, just that the Stag has a slightly softer voice, and, as I've always felt of it, Moody doing a Morgan Freeman impression.
I remember the first time I saw Badger. He wasn't like the other animals, 'cause he was a badger.
So the series picks up basically where the last one left us off, with the animals' entrance and triumphant welcome into the rather dreary looking White Deer Park. And trust me, that's not just an aesthetic choice, that will basically reflect the series' tone as we go along. And now we can firmly welcome back the train in all its glory. Fox, badger, mole, toad, weasel, oh dear, vixen, owl, kestrel, adder, whistler, and the rest. It's good to see you all back again. Though for some of you, not for long. Oh, and say hello to the residents of White Deer Park, aka the clones of the original characters, a frog and a lightly coloured weasel.
You're all heroes of your species.
Some heroes. Oh.
Hey, don't go knocking Rabbit there. I mean, sure, he nearly got Fox drowned, had the other animals run over, fainted every other moment, and bellyached the whole time. But other than that, what's he ever done wrong? And after that, we're lightly introduced to our first new major character.
The park is yours. Go where you will.
As long as he's not on my patch.
Hey, cool it, Al Pacino. You'll get your moment eventually. This is the leader of the Blue Foxes of White Deer Park, Scarface, voiced by John Glover, though you could easily mistake him for Ray Winstone given his voice. And yes, that is his real name. Which means that every time he'll appear, I'll take ample opportunity to do this.
I'm not gonna get a scar like that eating pussy.
Hoo-hoo, let's see how long it takes for me to run that joke into the ground. Actually, what's funny about the way he's designed is that he should really be called Squiggle Face, but I guess Scarface does sound a bit more threatening. And in terms of his character, he's basically the equivalent of the territorial gangster that he's named after, who considers himself the judge, jury and executioner of White Deer Park, and is essentially threatened by Fox and his lot entering his neck of the woods, quite literally in this case, which leads to some great moments, but we'll get to that soon enough. You may have also noticed the odd fur colour. Well, that's because in the original novel, all of Scarface's clan were red foxes just like Fox, but to stave off confusion they made his clan blue, sort of a takeoff of silver foxes, which do have a similar colour to their fur. But basically this extends to how his reasons for Fox, outside of being threatened by his just mere presence, is how he also complains that he's a much more common breed, essentially being about racial reasons and so forth. But it obviously extends to being further beyond that motive as time goes on. Don't worry though, we'll be seeing plenty more of Scarface in his BMP ways soon enough. Actually, since he only cares about White Deer Park, shouldn't that be WPNP? Oh well, I guess it doesn't matter. What I really don't want to see is him and Vol get into a verbal debate. That would be the entertainment equivalent of bashing a hammer into your face over and over again while someone screams in your ears. Next we're introduced to Whistler's almost forced on mate, Speedy, voiced by Pamela Krivacal, try and say that when you're drunk, who makes good on her namesake almost immediately.
How do you do?
Charmed to make your acquaintance.
My name is Speedy. Can't think why, but it's what creatures call me anyway.
May I introduce myself? I'm Whistler.
What did you say your name was? Tell me later. No time to lose. Come with me. Well, are you coming or aren't you?
Yes, Whistler, you have indeed been emasculated. Join the club, mate. Come in though, it's not so bad. We got nice t-shirts and all. And then we meet Weasel's love interest. Now you would probably think that the male equivalent of Weasel would probably be the most annoying thing on the planet, like some sort of unfunny Rick Mail, or basically any movie that Pauly Shore is in, but that is actually not the case, as you will see.
Oh, you're gorgeous. Oh, I love it when you're angry.
I don't know why, but that voice makes me laugh every time I hear it. This is Measley, voiced by Jeremy Barrett. Yes, Scarface, Speedy, and Measley. Seems like Colin Dan at this point must have ran out of species names and just decided to go for personality traits for names instead. which is not necessarily a bad thing for a kids show, but it does make it rather drastic and sudden when they start acting differently from these preset personalities if their characters start to develop. Because when they give themselves these names like this, it makes it seem like they're always supposed to act in a certain way, but when they change it just comes off as rather daunting. Still, character development is good nonetheless.
You won't catch me! Come and see!
Good idea, Kestrel.
Okay, I think we've met the creeper of White Deer Park here. After the foreplay, I mean introductions, we find that not all the animals are getting along, though I'm really not sure why. And wait, red squirrels? Are they in the New Forest? Did they cross the Soylent to get here? Is that what the body of water was from the Snare of the Unwary, the body of water between mainland England and the Isle of Wight? No wonder they're tired. So this whole story takes place on the Isle of Wight? Huh. No wonder all the humans act like assholes.
Warning, this is a joke made for satirical use. George has no prejudice against the people of the Isle of Wight. He's sure they're lovely people and that they respect nature. He just thought it'd be funny. And he still doesn't like going there.
I don't hold with all this fraternising.
Neither do I. Farthing wood animals forever.
Here, here, ha, 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 ha. Help, Fox, Fox!
I thought I would die.
Brothers, we animals of Farthing Wood must stick together.
Oh god, no, Fool! Don't cause a scene! Don't cause a...
Fox is our leader. He cannot turn his back on his responsibilities. He must defend us from our aggressors.
Oh, thank god. Oh, thank god. Oh, that's a weight off my mind. I thought we were going to have more self-righteous bullshit again. So, with that, the first conflict of the series is created. The smaller animals expect Fox to help them, whereas Fox, and most of the larger animals, really understandably just want to get on with their own life. I have to say, this is a really good dynamic to introduce, and an element that I kind of relate to. The idea of trying to renounce a job and move on, but people still kind of depend on you. It's a really good dynamic, and it's a good way to move the characters along. After that, Badger and Mole come across Scarface's mate, Lady Blue, voiced by Stacey Jefferson. Keep up with those oh-so original names, guys! Along with Scarface, she's also been a greatly loved character amongst the fan community. Though I admit I'm not quite sure why, but I'm sure we'll find out about that as we go along. Anyway, what she essentially just does here is a Red Fox taxi driver moment where she shoos them away from her Earth and establishes that the Blue Foxes are the authority of White Deer Park. We'll get to that in a future episode. Yes, I know I'm saying a lot, oh we'll get to that and that's in a future episode, but trust me, there are a lot of things that happen in the episode outside of this one that I can't really give away without giving away spoilers.
This is our territory, you know.
Ours? Whose?
The blue foxes. We have nothing so common as red foxes here. Or at least we didn't till your friends arrived. However, and be that as it may, the fact is you must apply to my mate for permission if you want to live here.
I see. How do we find your mate?
You can't miss him. He's the one with the scar.
We then cut over to establish Kestrel's character development for the series. See, unlike the other animals, Kestrel's still got her fighting spirit and hunting spirit. Unfortunately, she's so good at it that she can't differentiate between the regular animals and the Farthing Wood animals, and is accidentally killing them. This is another really great character element to implement, particularly to a very underdeveloped character, and also showing how the elements of a journey can create problems as well as solutions. And the scenes where Kestrel kills some of the animals can get pretty damn dark sometimes. Watch this.
You beast! You've eaten my wife!
Your wife?
See? I mean, granted it's not the worst thing to happen to the mice, but the flash of red and Mouse's crying definitely do not make this a pleasant scene. Oh, and time to welcome back an old friend.
Field Mouse, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. Oh, dear. How embarrassing. How very embarrassing.
You just killed one of your friend's wives. I think you'd have a stronger word than just embarrassed. Mortified or disgusted might clinch it. Anyway, after a sitcom moment with Whistler and Speedy, we then go over to Ada, doing what she does best. Failing at hunting, as always.
Shucks.
But nothing that a rousing kiss chase can't fix. No, seriously, that's what's happening here.
You can stop laughing as well.
Isn't it nice to be wanted?
No, it's not. Especially by this measly little specimen. Get off, you.
Gives new term to the meaning axing the weasel.
Why don't you sing to him? That'll put him off.
Yeah.
No. I'm not gonna do this early in the series. I'm still going through therapy from the last time that she sang. But if we really have to do this, if this is really going to happen, then I might as well introduce my new patented weasel singing prevention system. A mute button. So let's give that a go.
Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, the pocket full of posies. A tissue, we'll all fall down.
More!
No, not more, not... Wait. You liked that? Yes, believe it or not, Weasel's perfect love interest is truly this guy, if he likes her singing. Though she refuses to see that, which is kind of funny how, arguably, the most undesirable character in the series gets an obsessive like this, though that doesn't last long as, well, as Scarface puts it.
Look at those tits, man. She's begging for it. What? You're fucking crazy, man? She's 103 years old.
We then move to a political debate on friends or food. But that's boring, so let's watch an acorn bombardment.
Ow, what are you doing? Help!
'Twas hell in the time of the trenches. Acorns left and right. The red bastards wouldn't even relent, not even for our young'uns. And I tells ya, I swear they weren't even using roasted acorns either. Ow!
They might be smaller than we are, but they ganged up on us. We couldn't do a thing.
Trouble rains down on our heads.
What's with this pose, Al? After that, an entire smorgasbord of trouble hits the Farthing woodlot. So much for paradise, eh?
More trouble?
The blue foxes have warned us off their land.
We're none too popular here either.
We need protection. I vote we find Fox. He'll sort this out.
We must find Fox.
Here. I vote we find Fox.
So the animals fall back onto the old strategy, as it were.
Home, sweet home.
Peace at last.
A fat chance.
What on earth?
We want Fox. We want Fox.
We like Ike! We like Ike!
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I'll tell them to go away, shall I?
No, you can't do that. Fate made you their leader. You can't let them down. We just have to face it. You're not an ordinary fox and never will be.
You're a wizard, Fox. So we then cut back to Weasel and Scarface, who, as you can imagine, is still making good on his namesake.
You're one of that Farthing woodlot, aren't you?
Why don't you try sticking your head up your ass? See if it fits.
I hear you're all heroes. Is that right?
No, not true. I'm a coward myself.
Good. That's just what I wanted to hear. Because...
So before Scarface can do whatever he wanted to do with Weasel, use her as a draft excluder maybe, she makes a run for it.
Farthing wood animals forever!
Well, that scene was pointless. We then cut back to Fox's unwanted guests, who of course are all talking about their problems.
The White Deer Park animals just won't share.
Not surprised, matey. Some of us have been eating them.
The White Deer Park predators eat sometimes as well, you know.
You would say that. After all, some of us have been eating some of us, too. Haven't we, Kestrel?
Oh, how very embarrassing.
We get it! Stop saying it! We also find out that Hare has now moved in with the locals, and apparently this is a bad thing?
Even the hares. They've gone off to move in near the local hares. No loyalty, some creatures. No loyalty at all.
I guess the train just really likes keeping the self-important, arrogant ones in the group. Then again, Vol is still there, so that pretty much proves that. Weasel then tells the rest of the train about Tony.
I was chased by this horrible great fox. Oh, and he was blue with rage.
Blue?
I caught a glimpse of him at the gathering with the stag. He's very unusual.
To say the least, he's blue and talks like Ray Winstone after chain smoking. He's the most bizarre fox I've ever seen. Besides this guy. So Fox's solution is this.
Looks like I'll have to have a chat with the great stag, doesn't it?
Yep. Fox's solution is basically to tell the teacher on Scarface. So much for our fearless leader.
But Mr. Deer, Scarface ain't my friend.
Not now, Fox. I've got more narration to spout.
We cannot let you lose out. Perhaps what's needed is some land of your own.
But we want to be in the park.
Of course, I mean inside the park's boundaries. Sort of a Farthing wood within White Deer Park? Somewhere the oath can still be respected?
There are so many of us, and all different. We'd need banks for our earths and sets. We'd need water for Toad and Whistler. The squirrels and the birds need trees.
And a valley as far away as possible for Weasel to sing all day long in.
I am going to have to ask Scarface to give up some of his territory. He isn't going to like that.
No, I don't think he will.
Fuck Gaspar Gomez and fuck the fucking Diaz brothers! Fuck them all!
Perhaps if in exchange you agreed not to hunt on his land. What is it, Kestrel?
You're making your home in the wrong place. The White Stag has given us our own territory.
So Kestrel tells the hares about Farthing Land. Or Farthing Cul-de-sac as I like to call it, given the bizarre geography.
Where? Our boundaries are to the north, the stone circle, to the east, the line of pine trees, to the south, the pond, to the west, the stream running through the wood.
Who exactly came up with that direction arrangement? That's like describing the UK as to the north, where we get most of the actors that play Doctor Who, to the south, where people watch Doctor Who, to the west, where people mostly film Doctor Who, and to the east, where people make money off of Doctor Who and drain it dry.
This way, we have habitats to suit us all. But remember, stray from the boundary and you will be prey to other animals.
No one is forced to live on Farthing Land, but if you don't, remember, you won't be protected by the oath.
It's all very well for the smaller animals, of course, but you don't need protection, do you, Whistler? You've got me. I'll take care of you.
Look at Whistler there. He clearly wants out of this situation, but he's too polite to say so. This is when you need to go from, say, 3rd Doctor to 1st or 12th Doctor. A reherenation, if you will.
Know what worries me?
What's that, old friend?
There won't be enough of us bigger animals left to enforce the oath. The herons have gone fishing. The hares have opted to stay outside.
Well, I'm still here.
For what use he is?
Yes, Badger. You and me, eh? You're a loyal old pal, you are.
You'll be regretting that statement soon, Fox. Just you see.
There. You can smell them everywhere.
Yes, my love. I do agree.
Nothing but trouble. The stag should never have let them in the first place.
Such common red foxes, too.
Racists! Why is this always a thing in Farthing Wood? Unless Scarface is a Nazi too.
will, my love. Winter's coming. Then we'll see who's who.
After that, we find out that Adder's going into hibernation, understandably, and Rabbit does what he does best.
No, this won't do. I can smell Scarface.
But you can smell him everywhere. It was his land.
No, I couldn't settle here. I'd have nightmares.
Trust me when I say that there are worse things to have nightmares about. After all the other animals decide that it's best to make all their new homes near Fox, all the animals decide to tucker down for the night in their new homes. Except for Fox and Vixen.
What a beautiful night.
Bright, clear nights usually mean a frost.
Good for hunting.
Scarface. I hope Whitedeer Park turns out to be all right. Suppose...
Never mind suppose. Come on, let's go hunting.
So what to make of this episode, the first episode of Series 2? Well, one thing it definitely does effectively is that it helps establish the future plot elements very well and basically allows the audience to know where things are going to go from here, which is always a very important thing to set up first, especially considering that it takes elements from both Winter and Fox's feud, as well as a couple of elements from the epilogue of the original novel as well as a few original parts. Though it can be argued that this comes to things being a little bit too complicated and too many things happening at once, but it never bothered me. The characters are the ones that we've come to love and are great as always, though some of the more minor characters have started to become phased out, which is understandable, and the new characters, while not off to a perfect start and come off as a little bit childish in their endeavours, do have some moments and allude to more of their characters to come. The animation has taken some steps forward, using more elaborate poses and details such as fur marks and loose feathers, but otherwise it's still as good as before. And in terms of the themes, well, we do have, instead of a journey, the destination, and the idea that it's not about the destination but the journey itself. Though in a story of survival that's a tad out of place, but it's still a welcome philosophy, and is explored in greater detail later on in the series, and also new threats from lingering dangers rather than from more random and wild ones, which is a definite new turn and gives a new sense of drama that wasn't there before. Overall, this was a really good way to bring us back into the status quo again, and the whole episode has the feel and mentality of a really good Christmas morning, seeing old friends and family but also new ones and getting up to a load of mad stuff with them. But we'll save the Christmas references for next time as, well, as the Lannisters would put it, winter is coming.
And now for something completely different.
But nothing a rousing kick chase. Oh, kick chase? I was thinking of the line from Fairly Odd Parents.